So Emma, how are you doing? Tell me what's going on.
Amazing. Well, firstly, thank you for inviting me. It's amazing and so wonderful to see you. And yeah, I feel like spring has sprung. I feel
Hmm.
there's a change in the air. I feel that, especially with the energy of the year of the snake definitely coming in, I'm
Hmm.
feeling shifts and this energy that we're all kind of crash landed down onto this planet as light beings. And we're beings of light in these amazing but kind of heavy bodysuits, if you will. And the year of the snake energies making me feel that I'm ready to do these big shifts. And it's just enabling us. It just feels like this huge Kundalini energy coming up. But I also feel this enormousness with the dragons, like Year of the Dragon last year, Year of the Snake, all this serpentine energy, which is just so medicinal for mind, body, and soul. So I can just
Yeah.
really feel it, Anna, really feeling it.
Well, I'm totally there with you. And for the people who don't know you, let me introduce you just properly with your name, Emma-Louise Summerfield. And I'll share a bit about how I find your work, but I totally agree with you that this year, particularly that we're building on the year of the dragon, where that was kind of, like you say, pushing out. I think the year of the dragon was pushing out the old, bringing light, firelight to the recreation of what can be. And then now, like you say, year of the snake, all about pushing forward, but owning the transformations you're meant to be having. And I think this is a big year for people in spiritual development that they have to get on with it. Stop playing around. Get on with it because this is all the energy is behind you this year. If you're going to make changes, this is when you're going to be feel most supported and empowered to do that. So tell me how your books are going because I have one of your books here that I bought for my step grandson, and when we go to Australia, we'll get it. If not, he'll get it for his birthday, whichever comes sooner. So,
Thanks, Anna. So firstly, thank you for supporting me. That's
our
amazing. I
pleasure.
feel really blessed. I kind of get emotional seeing it because it's like in my own creation, the world of Celestria, and then I'm kind of doing it, writing it, creating, drawing, and then when I see like you hold it up, I'm like, wow, I did that. It's
Yeah,
like I get this, whoa, like, gosh, it's
yeah,
real. Thank you for asking. Yeah, books are going amazing. I feel that the energy from where I started to where I am now, um, just light years between. And I
wow.
feel that I have gone through a lot of baptisms of fire of understanding the literary world, how the industry works, how it works for you and against you. And yeah, but like the Murphys, we're not bitter, honey. We've just
No.
got to kind of roll with the tide of these things. And I just wanted to go back to literally what you just said because I got goosebumps when you were talking about the dragons. So it was like the energy of last year. It's the dragons, as we know, are mighty creators. And it was that energy like paving the way, saying, right, the blueprint's changing, the earth grid's changing. And the snake energy coming in is helping people make that transformation. So I feel that really massively, Anna. I feel that the dragons came in with their mighty wings and were kind of just fanning it, just kind of giving us that impetus to want to do what we need to do. And like you say, if we're not where we're meant to be, then feel the energy of it, do it, make that change, because that's the comfort zone and that's where the magic happens. And I feel that the dragons are really helping us make those huge leaps. So the books came out of my my inner child. It's the book
Mm,
that I wish that I'd read when I was little.
brilliant.
So, because I grew up in the school system, going through the school system in the 80s and 90s, which I would akin to being parachuted over enemy lines with no map, no set of instructions, and really not being able to understand much of the language around me. And masking heavily, being able to mimic. I can do just about every accent in the world because it's just that kind of cloaking device that I think myself as a neurodiverse woman, but also as a light warrior, Starseed, whatever we call ourselves
Mhm.
collectively, um, it's a coping mechanism. It's our spiritual armor. It's what we need to put in place to be able to get through what we get through. Those things were very much in place in school. And it wasn't until I got to college that my amazing course tutor, Tom, and he flagged up my dyslexia.
Mhm.
Hadn't literally grown up thinking that, well, I know that my brain works differently to other people, but couldn't exactly understand what it was. And, I was in remedial English and maths. I grew up thinking that I was pretty thick to be, there's no finer way to put a point on it. So it wasn't until the empowerment of college came along and Tom flagged this up, screened me, and it was like this huge game changer
Yeah,
because I thought, wow, um, my brain does work in a different way, but that's to be celebrated. So
I
we kind of
totally know what you mean.
fast forwarding into now, that's why I've designed the books that I have because
Mm.
the books that I'm self-publishing now myself,
Well done.
um, they're all on, sorry about the light, everyone. So if you can sort of see that I've done it on the dyslexic friendly font and
Mm.
also the color paper,
Yeah,
because for not all dyslexics, but for myself and the majority of people I've spoken to, looking at white paper, you get snow blindness.
Mm.
So it's kind of tricky. And I obviously had the color paper that I used to be able to put over at college. But the thought came to me that writing these books, I want them accessible for everyone, not just neurotypical, neurodiverse, for everyone to be able to enjoy. So that was my ethos really for doing the color paper. So plus I think it looks really magical. And I
they're beautiful books, and of course they are all about your dragons and your family of dragons and such. And yeah, I'll show my page. Maybe that comes out a bit
oh,
clearer.
thank you. That's
But
wonderful.
there, it is very, very easy to read. And I'll just go along with it, what you're saying about dyslexia there, because I too am dyslexic. And I went through the whole am I thick, slow reader. And I must admit, it was never picked up. Sorry, you're going to get my little cat
Oh,
really coming in now.
this is
Um,
wonderful.
yeah. Um, I went through the scenario of knowing I was different, and I would, this is in the 70s and 80s, so this is way before there was any kind of understanding of dyslexia. But I remember teaching myself how to read big words by reading cereal packets and all the kind of additives that were in there, deoxyribo, whatever doodah. And it's funny because I was doing a word search last night and I was looking at it thinking, this is how this is how pages used to look to me, like a complete word search. And you'd have to look at every single bit to find a word that made sense. And so I totally get what you're saying. And to create books for young people who may not yet know whether they're dyslexic means that they can feel included and they're
Absolutely.
not going to feel stupid or isolated like you and I will have done.
Absolutely.
So yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Thank you for sharing that, Anna. It's it's so frustrating when, it's still now within there's some amazing teachers out there and some amazing places of education that do recognize and support. And I've seen recently on LinkedIn that Richard Branson's starting the academy, the university for dyslexia. So, which is, to be celebrated because, like you say, there needs to be that representation more out there and
Yeah,
the accessibility.
yeah,
So that
definitely.
was really key for me in the books. So that's why, as well, when I did because, you same Generation X as me,
Yeah,
and growing up with the Mr. Men books, and that was my idea as well for
yeah.
doing the mini book series.
I
So
wondered about that. Yeah, because I can see
yeah,
them behind you. Yeah, I didn't
so
realize that.
and again, I've done it on the color paper. So for the Blue Dragon of Protection,
Yeah.
that's on the blue paper as well. So and what I've done is hopefully draw strong all the things that I wish I'd walked into a library and read. It was like all the things from pop culture when I was growing up, like Never Ending Story. I just loved the idea of that young boy going into the storybook. And that's how I saw books. So, like yourself, I used to sit and for hours and hours in my bedroom with books. And luckily, my mum and dad had a beautiful, extensive bookcase. And I used to self-teach myself the big words
Mm,
because
yeah.
then I felt a sense of peace. I just felt that I could connect and fit in.
Mm,
So that really
yeah.
resonates with me, Emma,
Yeah.
what you were saying.
Who knew that cereal boxes could teach you to read? I mean, there you go. You know,
Riboflavin, I think that was one.
riboflavin. Oh, yeah. And the irony is that they are such uneveryday words that you wouldn't
Yeah,
ever use them. But learning how to break words down into a couple of syllables or a couple of letters or spotting patterns in a word just was a game changer. But it
yeah,
didn't, for us, we are that pioneering generation as well. And that's, I
definitely.
think, why, as an author myself, and you've got your books, there's such groundbreaking stuff that we have been put on this planet to do. And obviously, you're reaching a really pertinent audience for the ones coming up that
Thank you.
are perhaps of a different vibe, perhaps of a different soul family, a completely different um, holographic space they're coming into. And they will then need to learn how to be on the planet, but not lose their connections, which is what your books, I think, will help them remember who they are from a soul
Thanks, Anna.
perspective
I
and help them go
really
up.
appreciate that. I really appreciate that because that's really what I would love to do. Because I
Mm,
just know, and I know you resonate with that as well, that feeling that well, where do I fit in here? You
yeah,
know, where's my tribe?
yeah,
Because I always felt different and I was at peace more out in nature, connecting with the Fae, in the woods. You know, I felt that they were my friendship group.
yeah,
They
yeah.
were my tribe. And so, um, I know there was others out there in the school system, but I think they were too busy cloaking and masking like me. I think we
Mhm.
were all totally, you know, terrified to stand out and be magical and, to stand in your power. In this new generation, I can see with my own girls, they don't have those same constraints.
No.
And so I feel that these books, I'm under no illusion that these children, I think I've learned through my motherhood that they're teaching us far more than I can ever teach them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I really hope that my books are maybe even more from a historian point of view to think that this is what we all went through. I hope that there's some things in there as well for the modern day children that they can really connect in with. It's all the things I wish I was taught and learned when I was little. So it's like all the things I've drawn strung together that I've taught my girls. So positive affirmations, how to connect in with self, how to, transmute negative energy. And I've done it through a time and space traveler's perspective. Zelenia Amaris,
Mm.
who's from the Stellar Gateway, and she came to me in a dream. So I've been working with the dragons for a number of years because I've been making through my business at
I
the time.
saw those, yeah, the last time, yeah.
So we've got the dragons and
Hmm.
their meditation tools. I just knew that I needed to put something into tangible form that people and not just children, Anna. I mean, I have as many adults connecting in and buying the dragons as I do children. And then it was during lockdown or slowdown, as we
Hmm.
called it in our
Yeah.
family, that my youngest Tabitha said, Mummy, these dragons, you've been telling us stories for years. You should write them down. And automatically, I got huge imposter syndrome. And I literally got that, yeah. That little gremlin that's like, you're not good enough. And oh my gosh, you haven't got like a degree in English literature. What? Da, da, da. Well, the dragons had other ideas. So I put pen to paper and like Jessica Fletcher, dragons she wrote. So I
Dragons.
literally, so I literally just started writing, and I just felt so empowered. I felt really uplifted, this real strong sense of, that I wasn't on my own and that the dragons were totally with me, and that to convey this across, that I really needed to get out of my own way.
Yeah. And I think that's a global lesson, isn't it? So many people who are on the spiritual path, who are trying to bring their truth out, get squashed back by the naysayers. I'm sorry, I've got my cat trying to get my attention.
Oh, what's your
Millie,
cat called?
Millie, and she's currently hanging on the end of my sweater. So she's
Hi,
clearly
Millie.
stuck. Oh gosh. Oh God, no, she's
Really?
not.
It's
No,
because,
she's
do you
not
know,
stuck.
I adore cats. Merlin, our cat, we've got a little black Bombay who's she's a little panther print. She's fast asleep through there, otherwise she'd be in on the action. Her and
Hmm.
Millie would probably take over the podcast, to be honest,
I
Anna.
think so. I think so. But like I was trying to say before I was Millie interrupted, um, that whenever, no matter what age you are, I believe, particularly for women, when you're trying to step into that next phase of yourself, when perhaps deep down inside you know who you are, or
Mm.
you've got a sense that something is rising within you, and you try and bring it out, and maybe there's the odd thing you say, and you get the slant eye, or you get the naysayers, or the people in your world who simply don't even know there's a box to get out of. And I work with a lot of women like that, and I know you have a lot of connection with women and children who are perhaps trying to find that path of truth for themselves. And something like your books and something like the opportunity of teachings and so on can help them find that confidence so that the imposter syndrome actually gets dissolved
Yes.
immediately because they've got a place to call their home, which is in their soul and in their heart.
Absolutely. And that's
All right.
where that's beautifully said, Anna, because that's where the magic is. The true magic is within us. You know,
Absolutely.
let's quote, Wizard of Oz, the magic's been there all along, the
Yeah.
magic is within us.
Yeah.
And it's very true. So for me, the reasoning that the stories that I'm weaving through the dragons and through Zelenia is for these amazing beings of light when they pick up this book is the message is remember who you are and that the magic
Absolutely.
is within you.
Yeah.
And these beings, these amazing, mighty beings, are around us. They're on different etheric planes of existence, but they are waiting. It's freedom of choice. They're waiting for us to ask for help.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the message from the dragons that came in really strongly when I was writing. And now I'm writing my second novel. It was to dispel this fear because this fear had been around connecting in with these otherworldly creatures and beings that they were uncontrollable and beings of destruction. Well, that couldn't be further from the truth because they're enormously powerful, but not in a destructive way. They can break down the old paradigms, the old way of thinking, to make way for the new. But, this is the thing, they're operating on a different vibrational level to us. So the fear stops us from connecting in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's been done, for years through, don't want to get too political and stuff on a podcast, but that's been done through different ways through the years, shall we say, for people to slow us down to quite to you know what I'm trying to say, Anna? It's
Hmm.
all about things that have been done through big pharma companies. I'm trying to keep it quite PC, you know.
Yeah.
But through the years to kind of dull down the senses and to keep us very much in a state of eat, sleep, repeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas the angels, the archangels, the dragons, the fae, but to name a few, they're like, but you guys are immensely powerful.
Yeah.
Who are
Absolutely.
you not to make manifest? Let's get things cooking.
And that's why this year is going to be so powerful because people who've been skirting around the edges are going to get that sense of they're not alone.
Yeah.
And when they talk about something in perhaps company that wouldn't normally have given it much time, they're going to get better reception.
Yes.
So I'm seeing you in when about 7 weeks, 6 weeks. I'm seeing you at Cleater.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
at the Sacred Haven Holistic event. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where I was with you back in October, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did the
October.
autumn one just around autumn equinox, and then this one's just shy of spring equinox.
Perfect.
So, and it's an absolute joyful delight to have you in the Soul Tribe, Anna.
Well, I am super looking forward to it. And of course, I think I'm seeing you in Carlisle in a month's time. Yes?
Yeah, our beautiful soul sister, Sheila Thomas
Yes.
from Sheila Thomas Energies,
Yeah.
she's running the most magnificent mind, body, spirit fairs, and she's doing that in conjunction with Hospice at Home,
Yeah.
which is just the most beautiful local charity as well. So Sheila's gathering, the most amazing soul tribe as well. And it's about opening up these portals of light for people because there's so many people that want to get off that eat, sleep, repeat,
Yeah.
that awakening, that having massive awakenings through either, life experiences, health conditions. We all get wake up calls at different points.
Yeah.
So I just think that this is an amazing time to be on the planet. It's
Absolutely.
it's not for the faint-hearted.
No.
And I think when we crash landed through our portals in the 70s, Anna, I don't think we were given the certain instructions and everything, honey, but we've certainly what I found, what really makes me smile is when you find your soul tribe.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
and that makes it all worthwhile because you feel seen and you
Yeah.
feel heard
Yeah.
and understood. And yeah, I feel very, very blessed to have everyone in my life. And big shout out to you for that as well, honey, because you're amazing. And
Well, bless you.
I loved having you at the last event. You're such a huge, powerful light, and
Thank
it's
you.
just wonderful to see you connecting with people. You were sharing your beautiful books and wisdom, and so many people messaged me and said, please tell me that amazing lady's coming back to your next one. And when I said you're doing a talk, well, yeah, there's a lot of excited people ready to see you.
Brilliant. Well, the timing couldn't be better because in back in December I launched my Blueprint for a Brighter Future, and this is I am passenger on this because it was going to be it's a 12-month overview energy alignment for people to manifest not only abundance but peace, harmony, and growth within themselves. And it was going to be a here, sign up for the year, and I'll nurture you throughout the year. Well, there's been so much momentum with it that it's actually now going to have quarterly launches because
Amazing.
of the momentum of this year. And when I say I'm passenger, it's basically I've got this habit of creating something, delivering it, moving on, going here, but this wouldn't let me go.
Yeah.
And this has been part of the dragon year energy for me. It's about sustaining, it's about regrowing. So what I'm looking forward to delivering at your event and at Sheila's event is different aspects of how to harness that energy, particularly coming up to the spring energy and the spring equinox, because that's when the next launch is going to be. And so that's when the next intake for 12 months is going to be. And that means that people who are ready to really jump into that snake energy, to really let it rise up through them, I will meet them at their point and I will help them rise further. So this is why I'm so looking forward to being part of your event, part of Sheila's event. And I know that already the energy is gathering because you put out so much gorgeous energy and you give people the space to be themselves. And that may sound like other show organizers don't, but what I've done literally hundreds of shows in my time. And I said to you at the end of the last show in October, I have never experienced a more welcoming, cohesive family, soul tribe experience at any other show I've ever been to. And I know it's a 1 day event. I know you got to cram a lot in, and all the work you do to get to that point is massive. And people won't see it behind the scenes, but it all flows beautifully on the day. And I must admit, when you did the opening meditation to get everybody's energy together, to ignite the energy in the room, sensory overload. Oh my goodness, Millie. Oh, little babe. She's a bit feisty, so if I go and grab her to, or pick her up, she
She'll
might
want to
just give me
play.
a full
Yeah,
batting. But
she'll want to play.
yeah, yeah.
Mickey
But
wants in on that action.
she's, oh my goodness. Anyway, um, when you did that opening ceremony, I had body tingles, I had heart flutters, I had tears. My mouth was like, oh, I've never seen anybody do this before. And to me, I know that, you're raising money for the charity and such. I know you've got to make money from the event as well. You've got to charge people, the hotel you're at will charge, et cetera, et cetera. It is a commercial operation, but that is not the currency that you're working on. And it was very, very clear to me that it was heart-centered, soul-aligned currency. That's your money. That's
Yes,
your
it
vibe.
is.
That's the value
Yeah.
and the worth. And from there, everything else flows. So this is why I was so keen to come back and do the one that's happening on the 16th of March. I am wanting to do the one in October already. However, the next day I'm flying to Canada for 2 weeks to see my dad for his 90th birthday. And I'm just not sure I can kind
Oh,
of double back.
yeah,
But I'll give it some thought and see how it
yeah.
goes.
Well,
But I would love to.
you're part of the tribe, honey, so you are always welcome.
Thank
So,
you. Yeah,
and Anna, thank you for those beautiful words. It it really means the absolute world to me. I feel really blessed to connect people. I'm very passionate about West Cumbria,
mm,
and I feel that it's such a beautiful place, and there's so many pockets of it
yeah,
that are, run down and in need of support and help. And that's why I do the events for Sacred Haven in conjunction with Cash for Kids.
mm,
And there's many amazing earth angels that go into the running of it, but Sarah Oldham is just a true earth angel, and she beats on the drum for the children every day. And
brilliant,
if I can do anything in a small way to help her and her charity raise awareness and support and much needed funds, then it's my absolute privilege.
brilliant.
And also to provide a platform for really beautiful spiritual and holistic businesses within Cumbria and Scotland and Lancashire areas, because not everybody has the time to spend on social media. And
No,
I'm old-fashioned soul. I think, energy doesn't lie, and I think connecting in the old marketplace. So Sacred Haven's a spiritual marketplace. It's a place where people can come.
yeah,
Nothing's expected. There's no
no,
judgment. People can come in, and there's a lot of weary travelers out there,
definitely,
a lot of
definitely.
weary travelers,
Yeah,
and it's just that level of coming in the door and just feeling that acceptance.
yeah. And you can see that when, from the with that where I was stood last time at the door, basically giving out my books, you could see the number of hugs, the smiles, and even people who wandered in and weren't quite sure what it is. She doesn't understand why I'm not talking to her. Um, Even people who wandered in, and I saw families come in, and they were kind of like a bit goggly eyed and all the rest of it. Everybody was made to feel so welcome, and they weren't in the wrong place. They were just taking that bold step, and
Yeah.
their feet led them there, you know. Um, yeah, and I'm super looking forward to it. Now, listen, how can people get hold of you, your books,
Okay.
etc.? So give us your deets.
Thank you. Yeah, so you can get me on the socials. So we're on World of Celestria on Facebook and Instagram, and also TikTok at Celestria22. And on my website, you can buy direct from me. So if you would like me to sign a copy, so if you want it personalized for somebody, that makes it really magical. So you can do that through my website, which is www.moon-dream.co.uk.
www.moon-dream.co.uk. Perfect. Perfect. Well, my honey, I shall look forward to seeing you in about 6 weeks' time. Thank you
Oh,
so much for your time and being part of this today. And I shall really look forward to that hug that
oh
that
my
you're going
goodness,
to
it's
give.
there, it's ready. Virtual hug as we're speaking now. But yeah, I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to give you a hug in person. And thank you for giving this beautiful opportunity. It's just wonderful to connect in with your magical kick-ass self because you totally rock. And
As I do you.
I just feel that this is just a magical year for so many people, and just that realization that there is only one version of you in the whole of time.
Yep.
So just, rock it. Be
Yep.
you.
And that's a great message for everybody. Brilliant. Thank you so much. And I shall look forward to seeing you on the 16th of March. Oh, well, the 1st of March as well.
Definitely. Lots
All
of
right
love,
then. Bye.
Angel.